Welcome back, explorers. Waving hand sign. Whether you're new here or coming back for more, we're diving deep into another fascinating culture today, so stick around, enjoy the journey, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Life in the heart of the Amazon. Who are the Yanomami? Deep in the tropical forests, where the borders of Brazil and Venezuela dissolve in the green haze of the jungle, lives the Yanomami tribe, about 35,000 people, scattered across 200 to 250 villages. Their world is an untouched corner of the Amazon, where time seems to stand still. The Yanomami call themselves children of the moon, believing that they were created by the moon spirit. Their life is harmony with nature, but also a struggle for survival in harsh conditions. Yanomami villages, or shobono, are ring-shaped dwellings made of palm leaves and wood, without walls, with an open square in the center. Dozens of families, from 50 to 300 people, live under one roof, where everything is shared: food, space, even personal life. During the day, women gather fruits, cassava, and bananas, while men hunt monkeys, tapirs, or birds using bows and arrows laced with curare poison. Night is a time for rituals, songs, and stories around the fire. The Yanomami have no written language, but their oral traditions convey knowledge of the forest, spirits, and ancestors. Their belief in the spirits of the jungle permeates every aspect of their lives, from herbal medicine to dances that call for rain. But life is not all idle for the Yanomami. The jungle demands strength and ingenuity. Men learn from childhood to track prey, and women learn to identify edible plants. Diseases such as malaria are a constant threat, and shamans play a key role, using herbs and rituals to drive away evil spirits. The Yanomami are a people who have preserved a primitive way of life, but their world is fragile, and external threats are increasingly encroaching on their lives. Small blue diamond of family and community. How are Yanomami relationships arranged? Yanomami society is built on blood kinship. A family is not just parents and children, but an entire community where everyone is connected to everyone else. The head of the village is usually the Tashawa, a chief whose power is based on respect, not force. He resolves disputes, distributes food, and leads rituals. Men and women have clear roles. Men are hunters and warriors, women are gatherers and keepers of the hearth. But women have influence, especially the elders, who often become mediators in intertribal conflicts. Marriage among the Yanomami is a complex ritual. Young men and women often marry early, sometimes at 12 to 14 years old. Polygamy occurs, but not everywhere. The bride can be chosen by the parents, but her consent is important. If a girl is kidnapped during a raid, her fate rarely concerns the community, which makes young women cautious. Children are raised by the entire village. Until they are 4, they sleep with their parents in hammocks, and then learn to help the community. Infant mortality is high, and weak babies are sometimes killed so as not to burden the tribe. This is cruel from our point of view, but for the Yanomami it is a matter of survival. Conflicts occur within the tribe, sometimes bloody. The anthropologist Napoleon Chagnon described the Yanomami as fierce, but Yak Lizo, who lived among them for 20 years, noted their tenderness and care for each other. Violence flares up sporadically, often over disputes over women or resources, but peaceful periods last for months. The Yanomami are not only warriors, but also a people capable of deep feelings and mutual assistance. Small blue diamond, surviving in the jungle, life and rituals. Every day of the Yanomami is a struggle for food. The morning begins with sunrise, women go for cassava and fruit, and men go hunting. The jungle is generous, but dangerous. Poisonous snakes, jaguars, and diseases lurk at every step. The Yanomami masterfully navigate the forest, knowing which plants heal and which kill. Their diet includes meat, fish, bananas, cassava, and insect larvae. Food is cooked over a common fire, and sharing is the law. Shobono are built together, men get wood, women weave leaves. These houses are short-lived, and every 4 to 6 years the village moves, following resources. Rituals permeate the life of the Yanomami. Funerals are one of the brightest. The body of the deceased is burned, and the ashes are mixed with banana puree and drunk so that the soul will remain with the tribe. This is endocannibalism, part of their belief in the immortality of the soul. Saying the name of the deceased is taboo, so as not to disturb the spirits. Shamans perform rituals with a hallucinogenic powder called yapo, connecting with the spirits. Holidays, such as harvest, are accompanied by dancing and singing. The Yanomami believe that the forest is alive, trees, rivers, and animals have souls. You can kill an animal only by asking its spirit for forgiveness. This way of life has helped them survive for centuries, but modern threats, such as deforestation, put their existence at risk. Small blue diamond's attitude to the outside world, fear and resistance. The Yanomami are one of the most isolated peoples in the world, and their attitude toward outsiders is often tinged with fear and hostility. They know about the white man, the raids of colonialists, missionaries, and gold miners have left a bloody trail. For the Yanomami, an outsider is a threat to their land, health, and culture. They avoid contact, but not out of ignorance. They are aware of the outside world through trade with neighboring tribes or rare encounters. Their isolation is a conscious choice. Anthropologist Robert Walker believes fear is the main reason. The Yanomami have seen diseases like influenza wipe out entire villages after contact. In 1979, an expedition that included the explorer Posuelo resulted in several Yanomami deaths from influenza, forcing Brazil to reconsider its contact policy. The Yanomami do not seek civilization, knowing that it will destroy their way of life. But pressure from the outside world is growing. Illegal gold miners, or garimperos, are encroaching on their lands, bringing violence, disease, and mercury pollution to their rivers. According to activists, more than 20,000 garimperos work on Yanomami lands, threatening their existence. Jonia Wapichana, an indigenous representative in Brazil's Congress, says that without state protection, the Yanomami could disappear within a decade. Small blue diamond examples of contact, tragedies and lessons. The history of contacts with the Yanomami is full of drama. In 1965, the world learned about them thanks to Helena Valero, a Brazilian woman kidnapped by the Yanomami as a child. She lived among them for 20 years, gave birth to children, and escaped, telling about their life. Her story, described in the book Shobono, showed the complexity of their world. Cruelty coexisted with care. In the 1980s, oil production in Peru led to the death of half of the Nawa tribe, neighbors of the Yanomami, from disease. This incident forced the authorities to limit contacts. In 2013, missionaries from Renew Outreach held an evangelistic program in the village of Jacoma, baptizing 400 Yanomami. Some converted to Christianity, but most retained their traditional beliefs. A tragedy in 2020 shocked the world when anthropologist Rieli Francis Cato was killed by an arrow on the Uru-Iuwawa reservation. He had tried to establish peaceful contact, but the tribe may have perceived him as a threat. These cases show how fragile the balance is. Even good intentions can lead to disaster due to disease or misunderstanding. Small blue diamond, consequences of contact, threat of extinction. Every contact with the Yanomami leaves a mark. Disease is the main threat. They have no immunity to the flu, measles, or COVID-19. In 2020, National Geographic reported that the coronavirus was approaching the Amazon, threatening uncontacted tribes. Gold miners bring not only disease, but also violence. There are reports of sexual violence against Yanomami women and the distribution of alcohol among young people, which is destroying the community. Deforestation and mercury pollution of rivers deprive the Yanomami of food and clean water. In 1992, Brazil allocated the Yanomami a protected area the size of Portugal, but the garimpeiros ignore the laws. Anthropologist Florinda Donnegrau, who lived among the Yanomami, warned that without protection, their culture will disappear. Some scholars, like Brian Ferguson, believe that violence among the Yanomami has increased due to contact with the West. Access to European goods has fueled wars over resources. Today, activists and organizations like Survival International fight for the rights of the Yanomami. But their voices are drowned out by economic interests. Small blue diamond, what awaits the Yanomami, hope or the end? The Yanomami are at a crossroads. Their culture is a unique model of the ancient world, but it is under threat. The governments of Brazil and Venezuela declare protection, but corruption and corporate interests are getting in the way. Survival International calls for a ban on mining on Yanomami lands and the removal of the garimpeiros. Some anthropologists, like Robert Walker, believe that controlled contacts with vaccination and education can save the tribe, but others insist on complete isolation. The Yanomami themselves choose isolation, but their lands are shrinking. The story of Elena Valero and the tragedy of Rieli Franciscato show that even cautious contacts are dangerous. But there is hope. Jonia Wapichana and young Yanomami leaders are fighting for their rights on the international stage. Their culture is not only their heritage, but also a lesson for the world about harmony with nature. To save the Yanomami is to save a piece of human history. The question is whether the world will have the will to leave them alone or to help them without destroying them.